Hello and welcome to the Voice of the Matriarch. This is Evelyn, your soul doctor. I help you and I help people access their soul purpose and to express their true authentic self. So I am going to be talking today about the scale of consciousness as part of our ongoing discussion on the voices of the matriarch. So this is specifically for women, although the information that we are sharing is not only for women, it's for everybody. So this is awakening the matriarch for women, and it is calling us into our own authentic power. I'm going to be sharing an interesting tool today. It's the scale of consciousness, and the scale of consciousness was initially produced by Dr. David Hawkins. I am going to give an overview of what that is, how you can use that in your own personal experiences, and I'm going to be talking about some references within the scale of consciousness. So I hope you'll stick with us and you will enjoy this. I am just sharing my screen. So yes, welcome back again. So I am going to talk about the scale of consciousness, what it is, and how you can use it for yourself. And I'll be sharing more on, around, and in the scale of consciousness. So as I mentioned earlier, the scale of consciousness came about by a guy called David Hawkins. So he was doing muscle testing on each of the energies, the energies and the frequencies that we carry. As we know, or some of you may know or may not know, we are energy, and energy flows. So the other name for energy is spirit. In quantum physics, spirit is referred to as energy. And in spirituality, we call spirit energy. So we will be referring, spirit and energy are interchangeably, and we will be referring to that in this, on this short presentation. So we have the scale of consciousness. So the scale of consciousness gives us the emotions, certain emotions that we may have, as all of us to some degree have all of these emotions. And emotions are stemming from shame. It could be described differently or labeled differently, but shame is at the 20 level mark on the scale of consciousness. So it's the frequency. So we have 20 at the vibrating at the frequency of 20. So we have guilt vibrating at the frequency of 30, apathy 30, grief 75, fear is 100. When we get to desire, it's 125, anger is 150. So I'll be talking about all of these. I'll be talking about the scale and how we go up the scale. And when we get to neutrality, neutrality is a stage of neutrality. I'll give an example of the scale. So, for instance, in my own experience, I was healing shame of recent. I was healing shame of recent. And how does that feel? That shame was something that was done to me when I was a child, between the ages of 6 to 11. So I did something that that a family member deemed that I wasn't supposed to do. And at that younger age, I did not know better. I did not know what I should or shouldn't do, as I was depending on the adults. So I was physically abused and shamed, emotionally abused and shamed for doing such. So I carried that imprint within myself. As I carried the imprint within myself, I internalized shame, and thus my belief system, how my body posture was, I was carrying shame. I did not realize I was carrying shame. Fast forward onto now, onto my adult self, or a couple of years ago, where I started realizing that this was, I was carrying a lot of shame within myself. And I walked on the shame. As I walked on the shame, I started feeling the guilt of not being able to, up until then, not being able to stand up for myself, not being able to speak up. So that was the guilt that I felt. And also the apathy that why would this be happening to me? Why would this be happening to the child? So these were, why me, the victim? So I was in that victim mode, playing that victim mode, and this is apathy, blame, self-blame. And the grief, I had this grief, and the grief is all about loss. The grief is associated with the loss of something that we've lost. In this case, in my own case, it was the loss of my innocence. And the fear of the fear that I carry was the fear of not being seen, of being too afraid to be seen by anyone because they will criticize me. And the desire, I had the desire to be free of this. The desire was the desire to be free of the hold. And I was angry. I went into pride. And the language of pride to me was, how could I let this happen? And that I would never let this happen to me again. So that was my pride language. And I went into courage. So courage was the willingness to rid myself of the shame and all of the associated programs, body postures, behaviors that I carry along with shame. I got up to neutrality where I felt absolute forgiveness for this person that did this to me, because they opened me up to the aspect of myself that I did not know about. So, and they gave me a gift of truly learning, knowing who I am. And I had the willingness to shift, accepting the fact that this has happened for the reason that it did to learn a lesson, and the lesson is about self-love. The lesson is about self-appreciation and the love. I started feeling the love, the joy, and the peace, knowing that that aspect of shame does not have any power over me, as that was just my experience. And the enlightenment was an aha moment at that stage where I knew that there was something, there was more beyond what the experiences that I had in my childhood. It was opening me up, reminding me of who I am, that I wasn't the experience, the shame, I wasn't any of that. The experiences are needed for me to remember who I am. And speaking from this place of authenticity, this is why I can speak and make videos and talk about my experience of shame, because I know that who I am is authentically pure essence, pure love. And this is my authentic essence. So, what I want to quickly mention on this scale of consciousness is, you can see the cone. You can see the cone. So the cone, as we are opening this specifically to women, although it is not only meant for women, everyone is meant to listen to this. This is for everyone. So, but because I am speaking to women, speaking to the authentic aspect of women, this is why this is directly related to women. But anyone else can benefit from this, absolutely. So as you can see, the cone is the feminine, it's in the feminine reproductive shape, it's in the feminine organ, the shape of the feminine sexual organ, the yoni or the vagina. So what that means is that, so this is the red where I depicted with the red triangle. This is the spirit coming into matter where, excuse me, spirit coming into matter where we descend into matter. And the upward triangle is where matter is transcending into spirit, is finally returning back to spirit. So the two triangles intertwined is the Christed, is the union between spirit and matter. And that is the symbol for authenticity, where matter is united with spirit and we are expressing. And this is the harmony, this is the balance that I want to bring, that I want as part of my work with women, to empower women to be their true and authentic self by self-healing, healing the womb, healing the sick, healing that lower, healing the lower area and healing the lower areas and ascending to their higher self, to their authentic self. So I'll also talk about the colors of the cones, the colors of this cone as they are associated with these different emotions as we climb up. So you can see the red at the bottom of the cone is the red. So when we look at this scale is almost like the color of the rainbow, and it reminds me of the chakras. That's the 7 energetic points in the human body where spirit is connected to matter. So the chakras in Sanskrit word mean the spinning wheel. So it's like a vortex of energy, but it is within the physical body. And this is where we store shame, we store guilt, we store apathy, and we store all of the heavy and dense emotion. So for instance, we have the root chakra. The root chakra is, the color is indicated by red. It is our base instinct. It is our foundation. Any issues relating to our foundational issue, stability, groundedness, security of being secure in our physical experience, the aliveness, the structure to things. It is also the hair, as you can see, it's indicated by red, the hair or the heel. So when we mention that we carry the hell and heaven within our bodies, within us, this is what we are meaning by that. So the root chakras, the physical body relating to the root chakra in the physical body is the testes, the kidney, and the spine. And the word for the root chakra is the I am present, I am here, I am me, I am grounded, I am founded, I am secure, I am alive. So when we use those words, we are creating that groundedness, that structure, that root in our physical experience. So the second color there is the sacral. So where the reds meet the orange, where the red meet the yellow. So you can see that the emotions there that we can carry around that area is grief, fear, desire. And this is around, for the female, this is around our stomach, our womb, our ovary areas. And for the female, this is our creative center. This is our creative center. If we are blocked with grief or fear and desires that are not supporting our highest self, this place can be blocked. And this aspect of us can be blocked when we carry grief, fear, and desire. So, and this is something too that the womb healing, we address via womb healing, different kind of healing modality to heal and open the area. I also have a retreat coming up in Egypt next year in April. So this is for women only. This is one of the reasons why we are doing these prerequisites, discussions and interview. So we can truly know who we are, know what is happening. And by knowing what is happening, we are tapping into our true authentic self by paying focused, disciplined attention to our spiritual health and well-being. We are tapping into, we're opening up to our authentic self. So the sacred area for women is the center of it's creative. Is the creativity of women, the self-expression, how we express ourselves, we carry ourselves, our sexuality, sensuality, reproduction, and the physical body. The physical body that relates to the sacral area is the bladder, the prostate in men, the ovaries, the uterus, the kidney, the gallbladder, the bowel, the spleen. And the language of the sacral chakra is I feel. So this is where the feminine, the woman feels. So there's also an intuition, a gut area. Have you heard of the phrase that oftentimes when we say, I feel something in my gut, this is what it means. The feeling, the language of the sacral chakra, I feel. So when that area is blocked, and our creativity is blocked, our power of expression, our power of expressing who we truly are is inhibited. So we have the solar plexus, that's the yellow. So So from the solar plexus area, we have the desire, we have the fear, we have the pride, the beginning of feeling pride, at least the fear, desire, and anger. So the solar plexus is our inner sun. Its color is yellow. It is our center of will, determination, self-esteem, self-worth, our desire. And desire, on the other hand, is greed. Excess desire is greed. So we have anger and fear. So the physical body that relates to this is the intestine, the pancreas, the liver, the bladder, the stomach, and the upper spine. And the language of the solar plexus is I will or I do. I will or I do. So when you fully embody the language of the solar plexus, you feel that in your solar plexus, that's under in your belly, under the lungs, just above the navel, not directly above the navel, but just around that area. I will. You can practice that word by saying I will, I do, and see where you feel that in your body. So we have the aspect of, we have the green color, the heart. The heart is the balance. The heart is the bridge between the upper and the lower. And also the heart is a portal. It's a dimension of its own. The heart is the center of our emotion. It's our emotional body. The feeling, the knowing. So this is knowing, feeling the knowing. Our pride, courage, center of courage, neutrality, and the physical organs that relate to this is the heart and lung. And the language of the heart is I love. I love myself. So that is when we start to feel pride, the beginning of self-awareness, the beginnings of self-awareness, bordering anger, the beginning where we start to have some self-awareness. That is the opening of the heart. And the heart is a center of balance. So we have the higher heart, the teal color, that's the blue and the green. The blue and the green, neutrality, speaking our truth. Both teal and, so this is the higher heart. So the higher heart, actually that color is pink for the higher heart. Teal and blue, so speaking with compassion, balance, and it is also willingness. The will, not from the solar plexus this time, but the strength of the solar plexus. The strong, so the higher heart. This should actually be purple. But I did put that, the reason why I put that here is speaking, is from a place, speaking from a place of compassion. But it can also be pink. So we have the throat chakra. The throat chakra is our physical voice. And it is our voice, the voice of truth. Speaking our voice, the sounds, the truth. So speaking universal truth and our own personal truth, because we have truth and we have our own personal truth. And the physical body relating to that are the bronchi tubes, vocal cords, respiratory system, or areas of the mouth, including tongue and esophagus. The language of the throat is I speak. I speak. I speak with truth. I speak from a place of truth. I speak from a place of compassion, love, and from a place of balance. And this is willingness. So we have the willingness, acceptance, reason. So we have the acceptance, reason, and love. We have the third eye. We have the third eye. So the third eye is our spiritual eye, is our eye of truth, the sixth sense, if you will, clairvoyance, the knowing, knowing in the seeing sense. The physical body parts relating to this are the eyes, the pituitary glands, and the pineal gland, and the brain. And the language of the third eye is I see and I know. This is truly the God, the seated God mind, the divinity within us, where we see and we know the mind of the divinity, the mind of divinity within, the all-knowing, the all-seeing eye, the eye of truth. When the eye of truth open, we do not only see from our physical eye that only perceives what it sees, but the inner eye perceives beyond the physical eye. And this is why it's called the inner eye of truth, the sixth sense, the third eye. So it's located between the eye and the brow, between the brows. And this is relating to joy, peace. And we have the enlightenment, the crown. We have the crown chakra, the realm of the heavens, right? This is the heaven. And this is also where our connectivity to divinity, this is where our connectivity, where our connectivity to divinity stems off from, and from within the physical body. So sometimes people give it the violet color, the white, or the gold, depending on their vibration, whether they are vibrating at the beyond the 700 plus. If you're being authentic, and this can be any color, to be honest, this can be any color that you give it, be it white, gold, or platinum. So the crown chakra is, the crown chakra is any color. And it has been referred to as the head. Obviously, the physical aspect of it is the head. It has been referred to as the heaven, the light of the thousand sun, the thousand lotuses, etc. So these are the names that have been given to the open crown. When you see the portrait of Jesus in Christian tradition, there's an halo around it. So when the crown chakra is open and we are vibrating at the highest vibrational frequency, being an authentic self, we are really expressing our life from a place of the heavenly domain, the heavenly realm. This is why we say that heaven and hell is in the body. It depends on our experiences. Are you vibrating at the lower? Are you vibrating? Are you living your life mainly from the heavy and dense lower aspect, or are you mainly at the top? And it doesn't mean that being at the lower end being at the lower end of this frequency is a judgment thing. It means that we have fallen, that matter has fallen, spirit has fallen into matter. And through its experiences, it's coming to know itself. So this is when we turn the triangle up, this is when we are working on our stuff and working to release stuck and heavy emotion. We are climbing every moment of the day. To those who are working on themselves, every moment of the day, we are climbing this ladder to heaven. Every moment of the day, you could be also releasing yourself. You could be also raising yourself to the heaven. And every moment of the day, you can also be falling into your personal hell. So this is what it is in a nutshell. How do we deal with lower emotions of late? How do most people are in survival mode? They are on autopilot. And when they start to feel all of these lower emotions, they rather ghosts. They rather block, they rather suppress and avoid. They rather go into avoidance and suppress this emotion and deny that they are actually feeling this emotion. So when we are doing this, when we are denying ourselves of feeling this emotion, we are condemning ourselves to our own personal hell, as opposed to walking through this and transmuting that. So the process of healing, the process of addressing these issues within us is not a linear process. You cannot walk on shame and say, oh, I've completely walked on shame. You cannot walk on guilt and say, oh, I've completely walked on guilt. Healing is spiral, and we come back to things that we haven't yet completely resolved. And it doesn't mean that, we can completely stay at the enlightenment stage. It doesn't mean that we're always completely at the enlightenment stage, because our purpose here, the purpose of spirit in matter, is to grow and expand. And this is why we are here, to grow. So the purpose of falling down from grace and raising ourselves up to our own heaven is indeed the expansion of spirit. And this is our purpose here, to expand spirit. And spirit is also for expansion and for growth. I hope you have enjoyed this short video.